So I don't know if any of you were able to join us a couple of weeks ago when we had our open house. We talked much more in depth about the role that the department plays within the overall campus. So today is really just going to be about the MSAUD program, the one-year postgraduate program. And if you're interested in any of the other programs, those are different info sessions. I think MArch was last night at 10 p.m. So generally, joining UCLA means that you're also becoming part of the city of Los Angeles, which has become an incredible global hub of innovation. It's got one of the highest concentration of high-tech industries, as well as, of course, the entertainment industry, as well as aerospace, manufacturing, transportation, visual arts, and performance, and so many others, that the city itself is really this kind of amazing, vibrant hub laid out in a very post-war horizontal city. And so that's kind of what we're working with. And that's where, as a program at Ideas, that's how we really think of Los Angeles as our laboratory. And, UCLA, as part of the University of California UC schools, UCLA is really the flagship university. It's been ranked the #1 public university in the country for many, many years, and again this year. And it is, for those of you who don't know, it is really a city within a city. We've got about 80,000 students, faculty, and staff that represent an incredibly diverse set of skills and talents. We are a Tier 1 research center. There are Nobel Prize winners on campus in many departments, and so it's a really incredible place to be. This is Perloff. This is the Architecture and Urban Design building, Perloff Hall, right in the center of North Campus, the beautiful end of North Campus, because we have some greenery and a beautiful sculpture garden. And it, of course, is also ranked among the top schools in the country, both in architecture and urban design. But what we're here to talk about today is the Ideas program, or the MSAUD program, which is a one-year post-professional program that really serves as an incubator for fostering cross-disciplinary design research. And what we do is engage in visionary and experimental exploration of themes or that kind of touch on the sort of disciplines or areas of research like technology, communication, sustainability, of course, urban planning, automation, and storytelling. And so within those creative studios, students and faculty often collaborate closely with other industry and nonprofit partners to think about how we can build relationships between emerging technological advancements and how that can influence our design disciplines. Hold on a sec. This is a video which is not playing. Video cannot be loaded. Fantastic. Let me refresh. Video cannot be loaded. Well, it is a really pretty reel of all of the work that we do at UCLA. Love it. All right, well, we'll see how we go. Hopefully that's not the case of all the reels. Samisha, do you mind checking on the rest of the presentation to see if they work for the other files? All right, so I'm going to talk about throughout the presentation as well about the kinds of work that we do and the kinds of opportunities there are to, let's say, explore design research. I think most importantly, the studios that we have in the program are built through, often, let's say not all of them, are built through partnerships that we've developed in recent years. And this studio that we're looking at now is one that we were developing with Matt Conway and with the company IDEO. And IDEO is a global design consultancy who've worked on projects in all kinds of areas of research, looking at consumer food and beverage, looking at retail, computer, medical developments, educational, furniture, office, and automotive industries. So they're a consultancy company that dive into all of those kinds of industries. And they've been really incredible partners who've worked on some of the most compelling problems for companies all around the world, really. And they've worked with really ginormous retail giants like Walmart and Target to eliminate something as small and seemingly kind of innocuous as the plastic bag. But they've also collaborated on the design and technology of Apple's first mouse, on ergonomic seating with Steelcase, the furniture company, and they've developed a hub within Ford Ford Motors to develop the future of mobility and electric cars, and designed voting processes for Los Angeles County elections. In addition to the kind of incredibly broad range of work that they do over 40 other companies. And so students in the collaboration last year worked with IDEO and also worked in their San Francisco offices for a weekend workshop. And they were able to overlap and engage with IDEO designers, met IDEO clients, and presented also their studio projects within that context for feedback. So a really kind of great and productive collaboration between an academic kind of research project and how we can leverage all of that into professional practice. And so the studio really leveraged IDEO's expertise in human-centered design to reimagine architectural systems and their effects on cities that ultimately draw upon IDEO's really extensive experience working with clients from different industries. So this is all kind of a range of student work. Another studio that we had in recent years, which was led by Greg Lynn, was the Arrival Studio, and that was a collaboration between our program and Arrival, and they're a company who are known for their best-in-class electric cars. And so Arrival focuses on reinventing both the design and production of electric vehicles for end-to-end sustainability, and they believe only true innovation of both products and processes can deliver the impact that we need to combat the worst effects of climate crisis. So the studio and the students aimed at designing the street as a reconfigurable network of infrastructure, of furniture, of equipment, and of energy in advance of the LA 2028 Olympics. And students really focused on the movement of building scale super components throughout the city. And everything designed was portable because mobility ultimately was the key design concept, working with Arrival, that is a mobility company. Next, there we go. In previous years, the MSAUD program has also collaborated with Coachella to explore the topic of performance and how it relates to architecture and urban design. And this is an example that came out of that studio research work where one of our faculty members, Guvench Ozel, this past year was then awarded the commission to design this large installation called the Hollow Flux at this year's Coachella Festival, which is one of the most famous music festivals. And so brought together, it's kind of synthesized a lot of his work over several years, as well as the work and relationships that they developed with the studio, with the festival, to kind of look at how they might partner over long-term and future development. So really kind of exciting way to think about where and how academic projects can also become kind of projects that are targeted towards future developments. In previous years, the IDEAS program also collaborated with Hyperloop, in which in this studio they focused on creating practical solutions to the many, many diverse aspects of the Hyperloop concept. And so this was a high-speed tube transportation system. Other studios included the Haiti Now project, which interrogated the critical issues of contemporary Haiti as a benchmark study in advancing urban design and planning for what the UN also terms as fragile context. So the work is really, really broad ranging, where you're looking at kind of the conceptual ideation of mobility systems in LA through large volume pixels to looking at rapidly developing countries and informal settlements and post-disaster settings. So, in that sense, an incredible range of work and research being developed in the campus. We also offer studios that explore world building and speculative thinking, where students work with media and culture, and they use story as a device to connect all of that together alongside the story's impact on social, spatial, and societal structures. And in that context, then we collaborate with visual storytellers and VFX artists, with concept artists and production designers, and of course, architects, to develop the agency that we as architects and designers have to speculate on and design the worlds of tomorrow. And so we incorporate the science of our worlds into the myth and the narratives of our fiction. And sometimes those projects are at the leading edge of high tech, and sometimes they sit in the super ultra analog. As part of the studios, we often also go on trips. My students this year will be going to Barcelona in April or early May to work with a virtual production company there to test some of the students or to film some of the student worlds and environments. On the top left, students visited San Francisco to study building structures. Last year, we actually had 2 trips to San Francisco. The other was the IDEO studio. Bottom left, students visited Disney as part of their studio. Our studio visited Nance Studios. And the middle image, one of the larger virtual production spaces in Los Angeles. For those of you who don't know, the virtual production volumes are where shows like Mandalorian kind of pioneered the technology and have changed the face of how we make films in LA specifically. We visited Julia Korner's office. She's a faculty at UCLA and also has a material systems research, which led her to developing the crown in the Black Panther, the queen, I can't remember the queen's name, the queen's crown and shoulder dress for the Black Panther film. And bottom right also visited Japan on a kind of building study tour. Our technology seminars also cover a wide range of topics to help students gain technical skills, of course, required for studio projects, where here are some of the different kinds of titles. We also have a reel loading in a second, which is also not loading. Fantastic. Well, this really runs through all of our technical seminars, so that is a bummer. I don't know what our technical issues are today at all.
I think it might be a connection issue because they seem to be working on my screen.
Really? I have a great connection today for a change. Huh. Well, do you want to share?
Yeah, I can share. Give me a second.
Okay. Do you want to, shall I stop sharing? Hold on, I'll be. Are you sharing? I can't tell. Oh, great. Okay, move those. Okay, technology seminars. Hold on just a second. Hold on, can you pause for a second? I just need to. All right, a sec. Sorry, the tab just disappeared. I need my slides as well, so I know what you're. Suck. I don't know why it's not working. I think maybe it was my issue. Hold on. Samisha, can you send me the link? An email?
Yeah.
Mine is not opening up. Sorry, everyone. Apologies. We don't usually have these issues. Nor do we ever have the video.
I sent it to you.
I don't have it. I do not have it. It's not coming in. All right. sure how I know how to solve. Hold on, everybody. Thank you for your patience and apologies. Can you send it to me in the chat?
Yes.
There we go. Okay. Apologies, everyone. Don't know why we're having technical difficulties of any kind today, but so be it. All right. Yeah, just I'm not able to see the videos on here, which is why I'm having a hard time. All right. Okay, where are we? Technology seminars. All right, let's hit play. I think we're probably not necessarily going to be able to run the whole video, but what we've done over the past, let's say, few years, where students, over the course of the year with us, you take a range of courses, which we'll talk about in a minute. Some of those are the studios and some of those are the technical seminars. And for many years, we had reviews or juries, let's say, for the technical seminars. And what you just saw at the beginning of this video was actually what we started to do in recent years, which has been incredible, which is the kind of big presentation, a huge kind of exhibition of works from all of the technical seminars. That then also evolves into something we'll be seeing later, which is the talent fair. And so in the technical seminars, because you have the opportunity to explore so many different kind of concept development alongside a range of really incredible technical skills, what we've started to do also is invite in external professionals into the reviews of work once we kind of look at these seminars, because it allows us to also cater, I think, the seminars in both directions. Look at what all of the kind of media and professional companies are working on and developing in the city and in all of the kind of design adjacent industries, as well as the kind of academic pursuits and forms of research that we're interested in developing at UCLA, and how to kind of blend and merge those two together. So here we're looking at a range of studios. I think this one is called Finding Planet B, which was taught by Laura Michelon, and students were researching planets that have been studied by NASA over past years and decades, and they then also composed digital planets. And so we're able to speculate on what those planets might look like from their appearances, from space all the way down to the surface. And students across that learned a whole range of workflows in order to simulate those kinds of planetary conditions. In the Phygital Laboratory, this was a really great course that we developed a couple of years ago that was taught by Nathan Su. And students researched a huge range of contemporary digital production techniques. And in part, Nathan, had a couple of technologies that he wanted to pursue and that students were really excited to pursue. And in some cases, students were like, I really want to learn how to do metahumans this year. I really want to learn how to do particle animation. And so all of those kind of desires and all of those technical pursuits were rolled into this course. And what was really interesting about the course was students then researched a range of subjects, from photogrammetry, procedural landscapes, projection mapping, dynamic simulation, digital humans. And the seminar was structured so by at the end of the quarter, a manual was produced. So students, as part of the deliverable, also produced the manual, gave it to other students in the class, and ensured that those students would then be able to follow the workflow and do the work as well. So in order to do the course, you had to learn your technology, but also learn how to teach your technology. And I think that was a kind of real revelatory way to work. Next slide, please. Here are images of the talent fair that we held. So in terms of image techniques and technologies, we tend to explore new modes of representation like digital animation and virtual production, physical models that are enhanced with projection mapping and immersive VR, as well as, next slide, yeah. We have the robots at the Ideas campus. This year, our studios are at Perloff on UCLA campus, although for students who are working with the robots, there's still the opportunity to go down there. So we have, of course, exceptional opportunities for students to specialize skills in a range of technologies. Next slide. And this, I think this reel, can you turn the volume down a little bit on it? So we do work heavily with technologies, and this reel shows you the technologies that we have at MSAUD, and they can be split into 5 categories: automation, fabrication, mixed reality, environment and sensing, and computation. So we have the small KUKA robots, and those are able to execute motion-controlled movements. And in the past, they've also been used for projection mapping performances, for interactive installations. A little quieter, please. And 3D printing clay for rapid prototyping. And so robots also open up the potential for motion-controlled camera movements. And so by attaching the camera to the robot arms, we're able to get repeatable, super precise camera movements that allow for those intricate choreographies and easy compositing. Can you turn it down a smidge? Then our fabrication equipment includes a really generously sized woodworking workshop and CNC machine, and a range of 3D printers that are capable of, printing with any kinds of filament types. And so in the past, students have used those printers for more traditional purposes, like creating scaffolds for VR and augmented reality purposes, alongside making models, but also custom printed objects then correspond to virtual objects in digital immersive environments. And so those tools have been used to create folding, inflatable, and actuated prototypes as well for dynamic architectures. In terms of mixed reality, the program has a huge range of VR and AR devices. We have Vive Pro, we have a lot of Oculus headsets, and all of those allow for all kinds of movement in virtual environments, meaning you have full control over the orientation of your perspective and full ability to move your body in VR within our spaces. Past tech seminars have looked into creating mixed reality experiences that merge animations with physical models. We also, of course, have the ability to use our virtual production kind of environments that students have built, including 2 Blackmagic 4K cinema cameras with full cinema lens kit, electronic stabilizers, and tripods to allow students to shoot models, installations, and short films at cinematic quality. We have quite a number of DSLR cameras, a range of GoPros, a 360-degree panoramic camera as well. And so students have also used all of this equipment to capture high-res photogrammetry of objects, interiors, and buildings. And then lastly, we also house a computer lab that's equipped with RTX graphic cards for really the students, or bookable by studios in order to add the extra support for rendering. And we have, of course, all the licenses for high-end modeling and rendering softwares, as well as game engines. And so in those game engines, students have developed simulations and scripts for how agents might wayfind, like in this animation. And the machines have also been used to train machine learning algorithms to create generative imagery, and also serve as render farms for rendering full VFX short films. And so many of the cinematic virtual worlds that we've produced across the studios, in this sense, have also gone on to be exhibited and screened at film festivals in LA and in students' home countries. So that should give you a good idea of the range of tech options that we have at Ideas. And that just gives you a sense of what's possible. Okay. So to get into, let's say, the details of the program, this gives you an overlay of the curriculum. So the typical study program is divided into 4 quarters. That first quarter happens in the summer and is a bit shorter, but each quarter has a studio, a technology seminar, and a critical studies class. And so what's unique about this model is that we connect the studio course to the seminars to build up 3 quarters, which results in a super kind of in-depth year-long body of research. Each studio is then also supported by a matching tech seminar that complements it with the software and the techniques in order to really push the studio's conceptual development. And so that all results in a kind of super focused, in-depth, comprehensive approach to design. The quarters, I think for a grad program, it's busy, but it's not super dense. You have a studio, a tech seminar, not every semester or not every quarter you have a critical studies seminar as well. So there's really ample time to kind of breathe, to think about the projects and develop an in-depth body of research. Can you go next slide? So for the Alter Worlds, this really gives you an idea of what the summer quarter was like. And we use the summer quarter to kind of develop a range of work that allows students to come in with, I think, whatever background skills you have. We fully understand that some students come in with a kind of dense background in architectural studies. Some may have also developed models and animations in Unreal Engine, while some come in having only used SketchUp before. And so this summer quarter really provides an immersion into the worlds of ideas research, but also allows us to give everybody an opportunity to come into whatever level you're at, but exit the summer program, everybody at the same level, really having a kind of full range of skills that allow you to enter into the full academic year with the software and the kind of analytical skills and conceptual development skills that allows you to really dive right in. That summer session, everybody works together. We're not stranded into the individual studios. And so I think it's a great opportunity to work together and kind of meet the whole group of students who are working at ideas. Over the course of the summer, we usually provide between 3 to 4 different studio models, as well as 3 to 4 different tech seminar kind of concepts, alongside a model making and both digital and physical, so that not only do you build up the skills to develop the digital model, but then we bring them into the workshop, and students then work in paper, work in laser cutting, work in 3D printing, and sometimes work with the robots, sometimes also then produce the AR overlay. So it becomes a kind of super deep dive into all of those. Next slide. So in terms of the space itself, or the kind of context of our world, we of course hold reviews, exhibitions, discussions, invite critics from everywhere next, and have workshops so that students can interact with people from outside of the academic realm and think about how that work moves on into professional practice. So this was a workshop we held a few years ago with Volker Engel. He was an Oscar-winning virtual effects production designer, and Johannes Mucke, who worked with him also on Independence Day, who was an architect, graduated from UCLA, and became a production designer as well. Next slide. Alongside the studios, there are a range of events and lectures with professionals who align with the MSAUD program. Here is Luc Meyran from Disney Imagineering, who came to speak. Next slide. And we also had James Chinland, who is an award-winning production designer who did the production design for the Batman, one of the Avengers, for the War of the Planet of the Apes, and Lion King as well. We have a great event that Laure Michelon produces, which is Ideas After Ideas, where we extend invitations to alums from all of the kind of various studio strands and disciplines to come back and talk with students and share their insights into their post-grad journeys. Of course, book launches and conversations. This was this year where Tom Main launched his new M book. Next slide. As well as a career day, which we're currently already planning, scheduled for, I believe, February. So starting in the new year in January, we'll hold a series of events from the portfolio workshop. Then we have the career day, as well as opportunities to build your network and collect with alum. And then in ideas, we have our super amazing talent fair, which is just about the best thing ever, even though it's super exhausting to put together. Next slide. And here's the talent fair, which Samiksha is award-winning at putting together. It's a huge exhibition of work and ideas, and we bring in dozens and dozens of people and offices from Google and Nike to Grimshaw and Foster. So the full kind of gamut from hypermedia to super architecture and urban planning to come look at and talk about the work. So that has become, we've only put on, I think it's 2. We've only put on 2. And they very, very quickly became, after our first one, our single most important event of the year. And the whole program works on that really for weeks. And so it's become a kind of mainstay of the program and of the tech and media industry in LA. When we first did it, we worked really hard to bring an audience into the program. People didn't know what to expect. It was all brand new. And last year, people were just pouring in, really excited to come back to it, to see all the kind of fantastic work that's being produced. So guests from over, I believe, 50 companies in LA came, representing companies. Last year we had Google, Nike, Meta, Kilograph, Epic Games, the mayor's office, along with a lot of architectural offices from global companies like Big, Foster, Gensler, to smaller LA design offices. Students all wear a lanyard with a QR code that can launch their resume and portfolio, and then present their work one by one to all of the guests. And it's a kind of incredible opportunity to showcase the work. So these were some of the companies that were represented last year. And then next slide, these are where students then were offered jobs and are now employed. So it's an amazing opportunity to build that relationship. Just about done. But yeah, marking the end of our academic year, Rumble is our annual exhibition of student work. It's a kind of 2-day affair that's exhibition and student reviews. And it transforms, again, the whole school into yet another interactive installation and celebration. And we've started to do that up on main campus at Perloff Hall. So that's also a great opportunity to bring all of the students and studios together. And yeah, the exhibition stays open through graduation. So parents and family and all of the guests who come after all the reviews are done kind of pour through the building and are curious about what their families have been working on over the past year. And it's a really kind of beautiful end of year exhibition and piece of work. Next slide. Within the department and throughout the year, we do have work study opportunities. And so some of those are social media, marketing, photography, and videography, front office, administration. I know my students have certainly worked at the reception, and worked in the model shops, exhibition management, installation, fabrication shop assistant, and assisting with print labs. So all of those are opportunities as well available to you. And students, I think, can work up to 20 hours per week. Recruitment fellowships are offered to the most outstanding students that apply to the program each year. So those are other kinds of funding opportunities. But no other additional applications are necessary. We kind of make that selection from our application overview. So that marks the end of it. A little longer than anticipated due to our technical difficulties. I apologize for that again. Don't know what that's about. But yes, if you have any questions at all about the program or about the application process, anything at all, please throw your questions in the chat and we'll be happy to answer. Okay, good talk. Any questions? Jim, what are our usual questions?
I don't know, it's a good question. I feel like a lot of it gets covered in the presentation. And I feel like a lot of the nuts and bolts bureaucratic stuff is pretty well documented on the website. And so I guess one thing in case people did not know, this year we no longer require the GRE for people who are applying to the program. So if you had looked at our website maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, you may have seen that as a requirement, but that is no longer a requirement. And so anyone who does not wish to take the GRE does not need to do so to apply for this coming academic year.
That is good news.
Yeah, very much so. Bureaucracy moves slow at UCLA, but we were glad we were able to get that in place for this application cycle.
All right. Well, if there are no questions, then we can end this session. And if you do have any questions or comments, let us know. We can stay open for another couple of minutes. And otherwise, if you don't have any questions, but the second you leave the meeting, have a question, feel free to email us, and we'll be happy to answer all of that for you. Oh, wait, I see something in the Q&A. Oh, thank you, John. Apologies for our technical difficulties. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.